everybody. What's going on? Journey gang, gang, gang. If you are just walking in, you're the first person here. Please do your girl solid. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know if you can see me. And we will go ahead and get started. All right. But let me know if you are the first person just walking in. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. It should be fine, but just a little confirmation. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started because I think I see myself. All right. Thank you, everybody, for strolling in. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. All right, so today, welcome everybody. Hello, welcome Naomi. Welcome back to the Love Yourself podcast. This is your safe space for self-love, growth, and becoming the best version of yourself. We will continuously talk about all things self-love because that's what dreams are made of, and we are all about realizing our dreams, all right? So it's very important that we embrace ourselves. I'm your host, Life, and today we are talking about something that so many people seem to struggle with, and that's being alone without feeling lonely, okay? So being alone, but not feeling lonely. Now, last episode, we talked about inner conversations. We talked about the way we speak to ourselves and how to shift from self-criticism to self-compassion. All right, but there's another thing here. Learning to love yourself. It also has to do with learning to be with yourself. So we want to just talk about the differences between solitude, right, and loneliness, because being alone and feeling lonely are just not the same things. And a lot of time we do get those misconstrued for one another, right? Solitude is a choice. Okay, it's a practice of being with yourself, while loneliness is a sense of lack or disconnection. It's completely different. These two are completely different things. In a world that glorifies being busy, constantly connected, always in a relationship or some social setting, we've really forgotten to be just with ourselves. And when I say we, I'm talking about human beings. So not any race, not any particular generation of people. I'm talking about just us in general as human beings. Most of us have gotten away from practicing solitude. And that's really what it is a practice. But what is solitude? So that is actually where the magic happens. It's where we reconnect with ourselves, all right, where we can hear our own thoughts and grow into who we're actually meant to be. And that's so important because a lot of us think when we reach a certain age, we're done growing. And that's the opposite of what's true. All right. We have to realize that no matter the age, we are still growing and still learning on this journey. All right, and growing into who we're meant to be. So we got to understand that there's power in solitude, right? That intentional alone time. That's what solitude is, where you're free from distractions, where you can reflect, recharge, and reconnect with yourself. That is really what intentional solitude is all about. It's about connection to self, connection to the God within you. And we always say God is within, God is within. But how often are we choosing solitude? How often are we choosing to spend time with that God within us, right? And we want to talk about why solitude is so essential for self-love and growth. because it helps you build self-awareness. When you are mending that relationship or keeping that relationship strong by spending time in solitude, then you are telling yourself that you're aware of yourself, that you are worthy, right? When you're alone, you can also hear your own thoughts clearly. You'll notice that once you start to spend more and more time alone, or people who do, if you already are, I'm willing to bet that you can hear yourself think now. Okay? You can actually hear yourself think, and you can feel your feelings. A lot of times we're upset or we're sad about something and we can't even really feel it because there's so much going on. There are so many distractions, so much noise from outside of us that we can't even hear ourselves think. All right? And that's where we have to make these types of intentional changes, because being alone or choosing solitude is going to strengthen your intuition. And we're all about strengthening our intuition here on this channel. This is a good chunk of what we talk about is all about intuition and strengthening that bond, right? Without outside opinions, you just learn to trust yourself more. All right? And that is so very important. Thank you so much for the super chat. Super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, babe. You're such a sweetheart. Any amount is a blessing. And a 5, yes. There's 5 people in here too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Super grateful for everybody that is in here, whether you're just watching in the background or you're commenting. Thank you for being here. If you're watching on Spotify, whether you are watching from your phone or the laptop, please go ahead and share it out if you can, and share it to someone who you feel that could benefit from the conversation. All right, because we are talking about the power of solitude. And so a lot of us don't realize that there is power in solitude, and we're talking about how we can grow in that. All right, so we just are talking about how we're learning to trust ourselves more when we're practicing solitude. It also encourages self-sufficiency, which I know a lot of us, I'm grown and I'm independent and I'm this and I'm that. But when it comes to actually being alone, a lot of people have a resistance towards it. And so the type of solitude where we're being intentional about being alone, that is going to help build self-sufficiency, where you realize that your happiness isn't independent on other people. Or I'm sorry, it isn't dependent on other people. All right. Your happiness is independent of other people. You don't need other people to feel that you're happy. You don't need other people around constantly. Choosing solitude is also going to boost creativity. And we all know that is what this earth survives on. That is what this earth thrives on. That is what we as human beings, that is something that really gets us going. Creativity. Being able to see something that you created and see it blossom and bloom. That's why people are so obsessed with having children. It doesn't have to be human beings that you're creating. So even those of you who don't have children, you can still spend that time alone and help to boost your own creativity and your clarity of mind. And this is something that we talk about a lot as well. Just having that clear mind, that clear connection to, again, your intuition. All right. Some of the best ideas come from when we're alone. How many times have you been in the shower, or maybe you're making dinner for the family, they're not quite home yet, or you're making breakfast for the family, they're not awake yet, and that is when you feel the most connected, and you come up with ideas and you have to run to the notebook and jot your ideas down. Because a lot of times, this is where it comes from when we are alone. All right. Thank you so much for sharing it out, Slim. And this is how society teaches us to fear being alone. We have to realize that this is a taught behavior. This is a learned behavior where we are actually conditioned to think that being alone means something is wrong. I cannot tell you how many times I've had people, when it comes to my son or my daughter, they were big time loners, more than they are now, because we're all loners, but they were big time loners. And I would have people in the family, want to know if they're okay because they spend so much time alone. Well, people should be able to spend time alone. All right. So we're conditioned to think that being alone means something is wrong. And that is the opposite of what it's going to take to truly, truly survive or thrive on this self love journey. Things like social media make your life or make solitude seem boring. If you're not out doing something, you're not moving and shaking, right? It really does make solitude, intentional solitude, seem boring. Okay? And that is the opposite of what's true. It's not boring. It's something that we all deserve, actually. All right? Thank you all so much for coming through. Whether you are watching here on YouTube where we record these live or you are watching on Spotify, I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I am looking for co-hosts to co-host these with me throughout the duration, the remaining duration of the podcast. So if you guys are interested, please go ahead and email me as well. Okay. So we are talking about the power of solitude, and I just want us to know that there is so much power in intentional solitude. It's not the same as being lonely, okay? It is just not the same, and we've already gone over some of that. And you really can't compare yourself to Instagram reels of other people or constantly being surrounded by people. There is too much going on. Our human brains need quiet. We need peace and quiet. That's how we thrive. That's how we create. That's how we function. And that's why a lot of us can't sleep when it's loud. Because when we are asleep, that is a time when we are recharging, refueling. Our body can only function with so much going on. So how do you embrace solitude without feeling lonely? Because that is what I wanted to get to. This is the part of the podcast where we really dive in. Like how, okay? It's great to say these things in theory, but how are we going to actually put some of these things into motion in our lives? All right. So instead of seeing alone time as empty, see it as a sacred space for yourself. Reframe your perception of solitude. That's number one. Reframe how you look at it. And when you see people that are out and about, I work at a restaurant, so I'll see people that are coming to eat by themselves. And I love that. I will go and eat and sit and eat by myself in a minute. Like, I love seeing that. So when you see people out and about by themselves, what perception do you get? Are you like, oh, I'm kind of weirded out by that? Why is this person by themselves? Or are you like, that's so cool. I'm glad this person is taking time to share a meal with themselves. Okay, do you know in some cultures they purposely eat separately because food is that powerful and your alone time with the food is sacred. Did you guys know that? Had you ever heard that before? So that is where some cultures and some people, that's how they live on a regular everyday basis. They spend time alone. So that's what I want us to do, if we need to, is to shift how we see being alone. Shift how we view solitude. Just reframe it as self-care, not punishment, right? It's nothing wrong. Nothing is wrong just because you're spending time alone. You're having a meal by yourself. You're going to the movies by yourself. You're going to the park. That's one of my things that I just absolutely love to do is I love to just go to the park and spend a minute alone, but with the birds, right? I'm not really alone if I'm at the park, but I just love it. I thrive in it. And I think it's partly to do with the grounding that I'm doing with the sun, right? The rays from the sun. It just makes me feel so good. But it also, so I feel good whether someone's there with me or not, generally speaking. But again, that's one thing that I just love to do alone is go to the park and just vibe, right? And Sweets says, I'm with you. I love that. I enjoy dining alone. Love it. It's a sacred time. Shopping alone, riding alone. It's my way of life. It's okay. And I love it. And I'm the same way. Listen, I don't even turn my radio on. When I'm driving, my radio just stays off, generally speaking. Unless my daughter maybe is in there and she wants to turn it on. But she's gotten to the point where she won't even ask to turn the radio on. Not because I won't let her, but because most times we're just vibing. Like, it's okay to have a quiet moment, right? It's all right. Take some time to yourself. I guarantee you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel better for it, okay? Create a solitude ritual. Set a time aside daily or weekly just to be with yourself. I promise it's going to feel absolutely amazing. If you're not already doing this, okay? Because I know a lot of us practice these things. But if you're not already doing this, we're going to give you some examples. And if you are already doing this, I want you to share with me and share with the rest of us some examples of ways that you choose solitude, ways that you're practicing solitude and bonding, just creating that bonding time between you and you. All right, because that's what this whole self-love journey is all about. That's what creating a life that you love is truly all about. That's what it takes, bonding with you. All right, so some examples that I have here, I have morning journaling with coffee or tea, just spending some time by yourself when it's quiet. Sometimes I know that's not ideal. Sometimes you have to get up early and do it, right? But spend some time. If they're in the living room, go on the patio. If they're outside, take a minute in the garage. I don't care if it's 3 minutes. Your intention is going to help you with this. Solo walks in nature. This is what I was saying about kind of going to the park. It's not nature, it's the park. But if you're getting outside, you're touching some grass, you're listening to the birds sing, you're getting out in nature by yourself, that is choosing solitude. And I promise you, there is so much power in solitude. So much power. So share down below if you are the person that is the person that's more so choosing solitude and just making that intentional. I want you to share your comments in the comment section, whether you're watching a replay or you're here in the live with us, okay? But have a quiet dinner by yourself. No phone, no distractions. Meditation or deep breathing exercises. All right, and don't even get me started on my breathwork event that I missed yesterday. The deep breathing exercises just brought it all back. All right, so what's Sweet's talking about? There are times I do that too. Teach this thing, life. I don't think people understand the peace and enrichment of it all. You do better with people after you've had time alone, especially regularly. And that is key. That is key. The word regularly. This needs to be something that is more of a lifestyle, right? It needs to be something that you're practicing. Okay, and it is just, it's so powerful, and I don't claim to know the full power of solitude, right? But I do know that for me it makes me feel amazing when I'm able to spend some quality time with myself. For Sweets, she does the same thing, and so it's, 9 times out of 10, the record is showing, the research is showing that solitude, spending time by yourself, whether you're meditating, whether you're eating, whether you're listening to your favorite song, something that you are doing by yourself, you're going for a walk just around the neighborhood, doesn't have to be in nature, you don't have to go for a hike, but get comfortable with doing things alone. Many people avoid solitude because they just don't know what to do with themselves. A lot of us don't even know what makes us smile, what makes us happy. If we did have time where we didn't have to be around anyone, what would we choose to do just by ourselves? There's so much value in knowing those things about yourself and really committing to that relationship with yourself, that it's unexplainable. It's unexplainable. So start by doing small things by yourself, like just going to a cafe, watching a movie by yourself. Do a quick day trip and go to the next city over and just look around. Just look around and people watch and listen. Try to listen with your feelings. And I promise you, it's going to be life changing. It's absolutely amazing. All right. So use solitude for a time of self reflection, not self criticism. Because we don't want to be spending a lot of time by ourselves, beating ourselves up the whole time. Okay. So we already talked about inner conversations. That was the last topic we talked about, where we talked about the fact that we build ourselves up. We're speaking life into our life. Okay. We're speaking growth into our life. We're speaking creativity, encouragement, inspiration, all of that good stuff into our life. Okay, so when we're spending this purposeful time alone, these are the types of conversations we want to be having. These are the types of things we want to encourage ourselves. We want to motivate ourselves. Spend that time loving yourself, as the name of the podcast suggests. Okay, so listen, whether you are watching on Spotify or you're here where we record these live on YouTube, I'm super grateful to have you in the building. Make sure that you're sharing it out if you feel led to, okay, and clicking that like button. More importantly, I want you to comment. I want you to leave your thoughts as they come to you right down in that comment section. I guarantee you'll get a personal response from me. All right. So when it comes to solitude, I know that for a lot of us, loneliness starts to creep in. When we sit alone, we often will let those negative thoughts run rampant and take over. But we know from everything that law of attraction and law of manifestation has taught us, we know that that is a thought feeling loop. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about that, how we start feeling a certain feeling and then we think a certain thought that confirms the feeling, and then we just go ahead and think it again or think something similar. And then that feeling encourages another thought like it, not a good thought. So make sure when you're spending this time alone, make sure that you are keeping your heart and your mind positive. Okay? Don't focus on what's missing. Focus on what's present. And that's you. That's your breath. That's your heart beating, right? So think of a time where solitude can really help you with healing and self-discovery. That's what we're talking about. That's why we're on this self-love journey. So if you are here in the chat, then you are on some type of self-love journey with us, right? And when you embrace solitude, you start to understand what truly makes you happy. You start to really become one with yourself. You become friends with yourself. We talked last time in the last episode about talking to yourself like a friend. And this is a similar thing where you're spending time with yourself like a friend. You're building that rapport with yourself. You're having those private and hopefully positive conversations. But even when they have to be uncomfortable conversations, because let's be real, right? Not everything is all fantasy. But when we have to have those uncomfortable conversations, being aware and being present, right? You want to help to heal those wounds that were masked by any distractions. That's what spending time alone is going to help you with and provide you with. Time to heal. You want to develop emotional independence. A lot of people talk about emotional intelligence. But there's a difference between solitude and just trying to get what you want, like manifestation, law of attraction, that type of stuff. This is the inner work that needs to be done. Okay? So this is when you're spending time alone, you're getting clearer on what you desire. You're creating a space for new things to flow into your life. Your vibration is shifting because you're not absorbing all that external noise all the time. These are the types of things that is going to help along our self-love journey. Right? We're quieting that noise. And you have to balance that solitude with connection. So it's not about just, being alone is the best thing ever. No, solitude is powerful. But we're still social beings, right? So it all comes back to balance. And I think we end up talking about the word balance at least once every episode, it seems like, right? The balance really is key to learn, but it is important to learn how to enjoy your own company. All right. So how do you feel about solitude? Do you love it or do you avoid it? I think the overall consensus is the people that are here right now is that we love solitude. It's not the end all be all. It's not something we want to do all day, every day, but it is something that is worth our time. It's something that we should be spending time purposely doing. Be intentional about the fact that you are spending time with you. So that's going to be the challenge for this week. Spend 30 minutes alone. Do something just for you. No phones, okay? No distractions, no family, and no friends. Just you and your thoughts, okay? Just you and you. Just 30 minutes out of the whole week, okay? Let me know down in the comments whether you're on the replay, you're watching on Spotify, or you're here on YouTube. Let me know and tell me down in the comments I can do that. So if I see I can do that, then I think this week you are going to be on your solitude part of your journey. You're going to be working to purposely spend time alone. If you say, I can do that, I'm going to expect that you're going to be spending at least 30 minutes alone sometime this week. Or let's say within the next 2 weeks, because we don't come back together for another 2 weeks. But that is the challenge. That is the challenge, to reframe how you feel about solitude. Reframe how you see solitude, even for other people. Are you encouraging it, or you think you a weirdo because you out here by yourself? Or you're not being safe because you're going for a walk in the park? Are you thinking the negative way, or are you thinking, wow, how independent, how cool that this person is out here just getting it in, having a nice walk by themselves, right? What is your perception of solitude for yourself and for others? Because the way you see solitude, just in general, the way you see spending time alone is going to be a clear indication of how well this challenge is going to go for you this week. Are you going to be okay with spending 30 minutes, just 30 minutes this week by yourself on purpose? No phones, no music, no TV. Okay, because solitude, it's not loneliness. It's not something that should be a hindrance. It's not something that should be seen as negative. It's a gift of self love. All right. And Sweet says, I can only do everything else after I have my time. Experiencing anxiety made me learn I have to have that time, more than 30 minutes, way more daily. And I agree. But this challenge is just a 30-minute challenge, just for most of us who, if you already are at a point where you're spending way more than 30 minutes a week, and for a lot of us, yeah, add 30 minutes to it. Make sure that you're getting some extra alone time just for this week while we're doing this challenge together. Okay? And I do try to encourage, this is what Sweet's saying, I do try to encourage others to not go, and that you don't have to be on and in everything all the time. Yes. Because, it's fun to be invited. It's fun to be out. 9 times out of 10, I said yes, but I really meant no. We talked about that on the episode where we talked about boundaries, right? Episode 2 was all about setting healthy boundaries. And when you mean no, say no, okay? Stay home, spend your alone time, drink your tea or eat your crumpets, whatever you do at the house by yourself, okay? So make sure that you're doing that this week. And being alone helps you grow. It helps you heal. It helps you connect with yourself. So remember that when you are saying yes to that intentional solitude, that intentional time alone, you're actually building a bridge to connecting with yourself. You're giving yourself time to heal, time to love on you, right? Which you deserve. You deserve that time to heal, that time to create, that time to connect. And you have to realize that even if a lot of us have children, a lot of us are married or have a spouse, a lot of us have work, or we have school, right? There are so many things that are calling our attention constantly. But we absolutely have to choose solitude. We have to choose that just to prove to ourselves that we are in love with ourselves. It's so important. You don't need external validation. And that's another thing that you'll be reinforcing within yourself if you keep up with a good, healthy practice of being alone, practicing solitude. Thanks for coming through, Redbird. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys are, whether you're watching here on YouTube where we're recording this live, or you're watching on Spotify, don't forget to share it out if you feel led to. Share it with someone who you think is going to benefit from the topic. And also click that like button for your girl, okay? And Sweet says, correct. And with age and life experiences, again, being in my 50s, I release myself and I release others, even if they don't want to be released. Do you understand me? And that's what's real. You have to take the shackles off, okay? I don't need you or want you to do anything that you don't want to do, and I definitely don't want to do anything I don't want to do. We have to absolutely just stand up for number one. Look out for number one, okay? And that's what it is. So remember, being alone is going to help you. It's going to help the people around you, okay? Because you're going to be nicer. You're going to be friendlier. You're going to have time to miss somebody. That's a big thing that I really learned or heard from Tony Baker. When he always talks about how you're on the phone all day long, texting back and forth with your spouse, and then when you get to the house later, there's nothing to talk about. And so remember that it's okay to spend that quiet time just by yourself, not worrying about what's going on with your spouse, not worried about what's going on with the kids, and just focused on you. And then when you come back with your kids or your spouse, you have things to talk about. Now you can talk and laugh, and it's a fresh response. It's not like you're telling me the same story you already told me in a text message earlier today, right? You get that chance to really just bond on a fresh conversation. You never know how these little things can affect your life and affect the quality of your life. All right. Welcome in, Estrella. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you, everybody, for coming through. I appreciate it. This is the Love Yourself podcast, you guys. We talk about all things self love because that's what dreams are made of. And we are all about realizing our dreams, not following our dreams, not chasing our dreams. We're realizing them, okay? We're making them real. And that is what we are all about here. So, next week, get ready. I'm sorry, not next week. But next episode, we are actually going to be talking about the letting go of the past. Ooh, that is a big one. That is going to be such a good topic, and I'm excited to be talking about that. And I want to let you guys know while I have you here, we're going to be finishing out the rest of this podcast. We already have all the topics lined up, and I don't think there's going to be any more topics after the 11 episodes that we have planned. So I just want to let you guys know that. But we are on full steam ahead and having a lot of fun with this. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. No, you're okay, Redbird. It's all good. It's all good. We got in and got started right away and just was chopping it up. So no, you're okay. I appreciate you. So yes, next week I'm sorry, next episode we don't have it scheduled just yet, but look out for that. That'll be March 27th, and that will be posted up in the community tab. So don't forget to hit the like button on this video, share it out, and look out for the next episode to be posted in the community tab. All right. So if you're just walking in, we're just going to do a quick recap, okay? We're going to talk about what we talked about, all right? Because it's so important. It seems so simple, doesn't it? It seems so simple to let's just talk about being alone and finding different ways to be alone. It's not really about that so much as the act of the practice, the thing that you get after you do it for a certain amount of time. The progress that you see in your life, the way you're able to heal from older wounds that you might not even know that were being a hindrance in your life currently, the way you can connect to self, the way you can connect to the God within you. God is always reaching out to us and leading us and guiding us. And we're talking about the fact that spending time, quality time alone, is a way to connect with that intuition, right? So it's so important that we stick with this. This is a practice. This is something that we have to put into action. This is something that we have to commit to in order to see results. It's like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym one or two times and expect to see results. So you can't meditate one or two times or spend time alone, go out on a nature walk or go into the park. You can't do it just one or two times and expect to see the things that we're talking about, right? To see the healing, to see the connection, to feel the connection, to see your intuition start to shift. You have to make this a lifestyle and make this something that you're doing on a regular basis. And see it as something that you can do comfortably. So again, like we talked about at the top of the live, this is all about your perception. What you think solitude looks like, what you think spending that alone time, that quality time, what does that look like and feel like for you? If it's not that comfortable, then I want you to start to change your perception on that. Tell yourself that it's more and more comfortable. Tell yourself that you can't wait to spend some quality time by yourself. I do that a lot when I'm taking a bath. That's another time that is just my quality time. I love to sit and just take a bath and do my meditation. So think outside the box. Be encouraged that it's okay that you can spend time with yourself, that you can be motivated to spend time by yourself, okay? And make it something that you thrive in. Make it a time where you are being your most creative. Make it a time where maybe you're journaling. Maybe you're jotting down ideas for your new business or the book that you're writing. Whatever it is that you feel passionate about, make it time for that. Make it time for you to sit and think about that. There's so many different ways that you could reframe it and think about it, but I just wanted to put this in your ear, okay? I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that there's an amazing power in solitude, and I want you to start practicing that. All right, so we're going to get out of here. Again, meet us back here on March 27th. I'm so grateful to have each and every one of you guys come by this evening. I think I said hello to everybody. I don't know if I said out loud, hi Gary. Thanks so much for coming through. I appreciate you so much. Your support is not unnoticed. I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing your time and your energy to help us help ourselves life by being a light and an inspiration. Thank you so much, sweets. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the fact that I can be any of that, because I'm trying to be it for myself as well, right? It takes a village. So we're all doing it, and we're all putting in on it, okay? Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, I appreciate you. Feel free to share it out if you haven't got a chance to hit the like button because you just came in and got involved in the conversation. And go ahead and click that like button before we head up out of here. And I will catch you guys next time.